Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Deadfire with me, Bregaton. Let's speak to Remaro.
Oi, Cap! There he be. There be Remaro. Sure as my arse be blue.
Serafen runs to meet an old, white-robed man.
I wish you'd not come, my lad. Pleased though I be to see you. Even Aldi's anarchists spare no mercy for mutineers.
Serafen breaks away and peers up at Remaro.
Aye, but you, a traitor? The very thought of it be ludicrous.
He spreads his open palms wide to either side.
Return with us. I'll be protecting you, and we'll be seeing of your fair judging.
With a slow shake of his head, Remaro swallows.
I can't, Blue. Much as I loathe to leave. I'm dead to these waters, and they to me.
Serafen gapes and sputters before finding his response.
Break my biscuits and call me Swabby. You've gone addled in your dotage, ain't you?
The Orlan looks to you, lower lip twitching.
Captain, unsheathe that silvered tongue of yours, and talk some damn sense into this old sort.
Why did you leave Fort Deadlight? You might have been safe there.
I couldn't bear to remain, sheltered or no. It's a hopeless feeling, bearing witness to the slow decline of something I once held such pride in.
There still be pride to be had. Honor, too. Things be changing sure as shit, but you can't thread them narrows if you ain't even it to wheel.
I hope I'm wrong, if only for your sake. I don't think the Príncipi can survive as is, and I can't watch something I devoted my life to sink into ruin.
Why would you leave the Príncipi?
The Príncipi have changed, and not for the better. Once, we aligned behind a common purpose. Now, we fractured into two extremes, each wallowing in its own corruption.
You're fleeing your problems.
Ach, these roomy eyes have seen too much. Nepotism and cronyism run rampant, rotting the Príncipi from inside out. Power consolidates behind the least deserving. The Consuelo's leadership founders, and with it, my faith.
Belay that plan of you, old sea dog. You're no good as any, there ain't no faith on these waters, save that you be finding for yourself.
He flashes a crooked smirk and strikes a closed fist against his chest.
Betwixt your brains and my swagger, we'll be right in the good ship Príncipe San Petrina forthwith, and be shot of these ship squiffy doldrums.
Remaro's frown deepens as he looks away from Serafen and towards the sea.
A fine dream. I pray to Ondra that you achieve it. For me, though, the current flows but one way. A return to the Príncipe would mean my death.
Is it true, what you're accused of?
I've not heard every charge against me, but that of mutiny, of that charge, I bear guilt.
Serafen's ears droop. He reaches for Remaro, but stops short, letting his hands fall.
Why? The sorcerer were our omen and kin. We're a cock-swelling pride. And you bartered it to an half-drowned old elf for a pint-bilged fucking clipper.
Staring intently on the ground at Remaro's feet, Serafen shakes, his fists balled at his sides.
14 years I spent swabbing them decks. Longer yet for you. Captain Bastion trusted you. I trusted you.
His glare rises to meet Remaro's eyes.
Ach, bon amico.
Remaro's mouth opens briefly before closing again, and he swallows.
Sientere, Serafen. I've disappointed you, hurt you. No words can justify my actions. I only hope you believe me, that I did what needed doing.
How can I?
With a tired shrug, Serafen looks away. You're hiding something.
Ach, that I am. Many things. For many reasons. I learned long ago that it's oft times better to hold your tongue.
The Watcher here reminded me that you and me, we be deeper than two hands on a deck. We be kin. You be the closest thing I've ever had to a father. And if you be setting sail, I'll be embarking with you.
Your journeys with this Watcher have changed you, Blue. You wear it well, bon amico.
He sighs and shakes his head sadly.
Captain Bastian had the sorcerer slaving.
Remaro frowns at his dark, wrinkled hands and rubs his palms together. Serafen blinks, expression blank. His mouth opens, closes, opens again. His fur bristles, ears angling lower.
Slaving? What kind of fathom-headed hornswoggle be this? The sorcerer were my kin. They weren't slaving. I hunted slavers for the captain. We freed slaves together.
Yeah, I don't think Remaro's telling the truth here.
So I also believed. But Bastian sold those we saved to the Crooksburg slavers. I found records of it in his quarters, almost a decade's worth. When I confronted him, it went poorly.
Or it was the other way around. Rage rushes through your blood, flushing your skin, and cold hate spirals along the length of your spine as confusion blurs your vision. Let the visions come. Sand beneath your feet, crusted and blooded. You young and small, filthy and shaking in fright. Cheers from all corner, jeers too, and the shouts of the kith before you. A moa and thrice your height, heavy muscle and soft fat wrapped in bright robes. Don't make me go again, you plead. Don't make me. His heavy hand sends you sprawling in the sand to a chorus of jubilant applause. You bounce to your feet as the other slave boy approaches. You feel his thoughts, a tickle in the back of your mind, his fear, greater than your own. But what can you do? Only one may live. You silence everything but the anger, but the hate, and it propels your snapping teeth and grasping hands. The blows light but fast, and the other youth all screams.
Sientere, bon amico. Forgive me.
Remaro stands a bit unsteadily.
I meant you not to know. To keep your faith in our traditions. To remain optimistic. A bright star within the Príncipi.
You okay, Serafen? Serafen snorts and shakes his head. Moisture mats the fur beneath his eyes. Serafen, you've heard Remaro's confession. What would you do with him now?
Cut him loose, Cap. Aye, he did the Deadfire a fine turn by sinking them slavers. But among the Consuelo, mutiny means death. Bet go on for a no.
Alright, we'll leave you be, Remaro.
Agrasima, Watcher. The clipper will be loaded soon, and then we'll be away. Cores, Serafen. Bon amico. Take this. May you have rare cause to use it.
Provide Serafen with a tightly wrapped package.
I hope we meet again someday. On calmer seas.
Cores, bon amico.
Serafen turns away. Yeah, I still don't think Remaro was telling the truth there.
Ahoy, Captain!
I don't think we missed anything. Serafen snaps to salute. A wide smile splashed across his furred face. Ahoy yourself, Serafen.
Truth be told, I've not felt so cozy in a crew since my tour on the Sorcerer. With Remaro and the lot. Good times and a half, that.
Our ship is a family to me. I consider you a brother, Serafen.
Methinks me more crazy uncle than brother, but I appreciate your saying it all the same. By way of expressing my gratitude, I've a tribute to be presenting. It's meant to be worn by a great captain. I think you rightly qualify. And I think you'll look right spiff in it too.
Where did you get this?
Remaro gifted it to me when I took leave of the Sorcerer. He had this notion I'd make captain myself someday.
Does that mean you don't want to be a captain?
Mayhaps I coveted a captain's quarters when I were a wee swabby. But serving with Ferrante, with yourself, seeing what leading a crew takes, well, I reckon it's like marrying. It just ain't for me.
Why not?
Now, for first, I've got less than an all-in's thimble worth of patience for all the politics, glad-handing, cronyism and sycophancy that goes along with the Consuelo.
He shakes his head, but then breaks the gesture with a grin and taps the center of his chest.
But mostly, this heart be twice as soft as this belly. Probably as furry too.
He chuckles.
Mayhaps I could captain a boat like yourself, all even-keeled and kindly. But you're a rare sort, aren't you?
Most helms could use a captain with a thimble of self-awareness.
I've always had a way with the lasses.
He winks. Thank you for the gift.
Pleasure be entirely mine, Cap. May it serve you at least half as well as I.
He bows deeply, then salutes and turns away. Fair favor. Alright, 2 items to look at. We'll start with fair favor. Swashbuckling. 10% hit to crit chance and 10% crit damage with daggers, rapiers, sabers, stilettos, and swords. Serafen gave you this handsome plumed hat. It is made in the Valian style and is quite fetching. The sort of headwear worn by Kith who walk with swagger, blades always at the ready to answer an insult with cold steel. Does look pretty good. Might be better on a dare though. Alright, and fire in the hole. Another blunderbuss. Superb, explosive shot. Basic attacks deal best of pierce or slash damage and a small AoE. As loud and stubby as its owner, this hand mortar marries the short, wide barrel of a blunderbuss to the lightness of a pistol. True hand mortars launch grenades and are unpopular shipboard, and elsewhere, due to the ridiculous danger of igniting one explosive to propel another. Chain shot. Range attacks bounce +1 times, minus 15% damage, plus 15% reload time. And concealing smoke. +10 deflection against range attacks for 2 seconds when attacking. I like that effect. We're having dual wield blunderbusses. This is so good though, but it's fine. We'll keep it as is. And when we go back, his quest is done. Let's speak to him first, and then we'll swap him out for somebody else. An eyebrow of the blue of the open sea rises of an iris, the warm green of the shallow surf. A lot of adjectives.
You be boring a hole in me with them eyes, Cap. I'd offer an oboe for your thoughts, but I prefer not to make deals I ain't got no intention to keep.
I could say the same of you. You doing okay?
I'd be fine, actually. Strange though it be.
If you want to talk, I'll listen.
Not sure there'd be much to say, Captain.
He looks away. You found out you were inadvertently aiding the trade of slaves. That couldn't have felt good.
Oh, Cap, didn't feel at all good. What brilliant you are.
He winces.
Sorry about that. Weren't fair to you.
He scuffs a boot against the ground. Yeah, we need to tell the Consuelo about Basti enslaving. Set the record straight.
Aye, Cap. Much as I hate's an honest word, some truths ain't for burial at sea.
He smiles.
And despite it all, Cap, I'll be right glad to be serving with you.
He bows and turns away.
Aye. Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
I glimpsed your thoughts when Remaro told us about the sorcerer and its slaves.
I espy a lurking question, Cap.
His ears lower slightly. Want to tell me about it? His small frame expands as he inhales deeply, then deflates the long sigh through his nostrils.
I were born into slavery, Cap. I never knew no father save Remaro and don't much remember my mother. I do remember the day they tore me from her arms. Her screams. Kind of thing that leaves a mark. It'd have been one thing if I was purchased for labor, to lift or farm or fix or what do you have. But they bought me to fight. Threw me in a fucking pit. Set me against other slaves.
He shudders. How do you go from the slave pit to the sea?
They transported me twixt one pit and the next by ship. And they would set me swabbing decks.
He massages one palm with a furred thumb.
One eve, the sorcerer fell upon them sneaking up in the sunset. When blades were drawn, I availed myself of one. Found myself a little justice. Remaro brought me aboard the sorcerer. The rest of the story's old.
Alright, let's go swap him out for Jody. Oh, Monage. That's Serafen's rival. She's coming for us anyway. That's right, she wanted Remaro as well. You have barely cleared Sayuka Harbor when a sleek half-galley appears off to your port bow. It rides high in the water and fast, but keeps its distance as it approaches land. Serafen watches the ship's passage from the bulwark, expression grim. When the ship turns to pursue you, you recognize it as Monage's vessel, the Misery's Delight. Its cannons don't seem primed. It aims to come alongside, rather than set up for a broadside run. Looks like the High Queen Sea Devil be wanting words cap. Not sure if that'd be good or ill, but at least it'll mean she ain't on Sayuka. Serafen's ears angle slightly back, and he massages the bridge of his nose. As the Misery's Delight comes alongside, Monage stands on the railing, one gray-furred hand wrapped tight about a thick hemp line. She bows low, doffing her hat, then tosses it to one of her deckhands. Looks like this could turn ugly.
Funny seeing you here, Captain. Especially since we've tracked Remaro to this very rock. Ain't trying to steal the bounty, are you?
As I was saying, we are positioned for a scrap. Monage cants her gray-furred head at you, hands at her hips, and near her weapons. You know my relationship to your bosses. You really want to test me?
Yeah, she's always been 2 tentacles short of a septopus, Cap.
Monage's lip twists above her pointed teeth, twitching. She bends forward slightly, like she might leap upon you, but instead straightens. Finally, she shrugs.
Way I see it, they won't much care if I gut myself a traitor, even if it be you.
Remaro's long gone. Let it go.
Funny. I'd have thought a watcher would have had better instincts than siding with a known traitor.
She shakes her head in an approximation of sadness, but doesn't bother hiding her grin.
Fuck it. We'll deal with you first, then go have a little chatsy with Remaro. No quarter, lads and lasses!
Weapons slide free of holsters and sheaths as Monage's crew attacks.
Out my wheel.
Where there's no music playing. Makes it seem like it's a somber affair.
must have hurt.
Gotta be a way to land this.
No good.
There we go.
Mother. Ahoy. Night cap. Oh, I'll be blowing a man down. Hey! Oh, we're fixing. Take him down. Will do.
All right, not too shabby. Well, let's go talk to Serafen one more time and see if he has anything to say about fighting Monage.
Ahoy, Captain.
Yeah.
Okay, let's head to the market. Guess that's what we'll do next.
Right.
Could also go up here.
Huh? On it.
Workshop. Go to the market first. We start entering buildings. Takwa. The fish on these racks have grown many times larger than their species usually get. And a lonely dog. Chiba. Oh, it's got red eyes. While Shiba is following you around, you gain bonus perception, and your party's melee attacks are more likely to critically hit. As you approach, the fish vendor flashes you a broad, cheery grin. He beckons you over with a wave of his hand and directs your attention to his latest delivery. What do you have for sale?
All the wonders of the sea, and more besides.
He directs you to a display selling the day's catch. I've got a few things to sell. I grab everything that he has. The young woman leans against the till, her eyes half closed. She jerks awake when she hears the scuff of your boots on the flagstones, and fumbles about for something to polish in an effort to look busy.
What can I do for you?
I think she looks really similar to the woman we spied on in the Luminous Bathhouse. Thanks for the Valiant Trading Company. She surreptitiously wipes a bit of drool from the corner of her mouth. Is it the same woman? I'll have to look at the quest log and see. What do you have in stock?
Put your eyes on these.
She waves her... Waves her what? She waves across her merchandise... What? Yeah, that sentence... There's something missing here. She waves across the merchandise with a theatrical flair. Stalker's Patience. Spear. Legendary. Wounding. Hits with this weapon cost 10% damage as raw damage over time. And Ambushing. Plus 10% damage to flank targets. Increases with stealth skill. Ajamut. a dwarf matron of Nasi Tak, carried this spear on many of her long hunts. To feed her tribe, she required a tool that could put a beast down quickly from ambush. She had no intention of dishonoring herself or the hunt by merely maiming her quarry. If she failed to grant the animal a clean kill, the barbed spearhead at least granted her assurance her prey would tire, weaken, and expire from blood loss. Mercy Strike. 20% chance to recover immediately on scoring crit. And Standoff. Twirl in a wide spinning arc that deals slash, pierce... Said that backwards. Pierce slash damage to all targets in the area, pushing them back and hobbling them. Hamstringing. 10% chance to hobble a target on scoring hit. And Mortal Wounds. Increases the raw damage taken up to 15%. Distrao. Exceptional Menace. Chance of shaking target on critical hit. And Red Tear or Red Tear. Distrao's pommel gem shares from its store of essence. Restores a small amount of health to the wielder. The pirate known as Deneric the Bloody, captain of the Claret, carried the sword during a years-long campaign of murder and mayhem that took him from the seas of Adir to the shores of the White that Wins. He was indiscriminate in his violence, preying on merchants and other pirates alike in his quest for treasure and blood. The ships of his many victims were often discovered adrift, their decks littered with corpses and the rigging strewn with severed heads. Driven only by his insatiable need to spill blood, Deneric eventually began to forego even plundering the vessels. As his infamy grew, entire flotillas set sail with the express purpose of hunting down the Claret and her captain. Deneric's crew, dissatisfied with the lack of loot and disillusioned with Deneric's malevolent deeds, eventually sold him out to Valian pirate hunters in exchange for clemency and a sizable bounty. When the Valians boarded, Deneric's crew turned on their captain. Salvagers later discovered the Claret floating adrift. The headless bodies of both crews covered the deck. Neither the Valian frigate nor Captain Deneric were anywhere to be found. Red Quickening. Distrao's pommel gem pulses with life-giving essence. Stores a small amount of health to the wielder and nearby allies. And Nimbus of Dread. Chance to shake and target and nearby enemies on critical hit. That's a cool looking sword. We'll grab it. We'd have someone that uses great swords. It's unlikely that we use it, but hey, you never know. Alright, let's finish taking a look. Oh, she has something else to say.
Let me know if you're in the market for something pointy.
What can you tell me about this place?
Sayuka? Bit of a backwater if you ask me, but don't tell the fleet master I told you so. This used to be where the fleet would send a person after they'd seen a fellow sailor blown to bits by a cannonball or what have you. That was before those mad druids out in the bogs started sending bears and wild cats over the walls, of course.
How did human end up serving with Royal Deadfire Company?
Everyone's always gotta ask. Not that I blame them. It is a good story.
She slips a long, thin blade from the length of her boot, begins to clean her fingernails.
I was seeing this guy. Let's call him, oh, I don't know, Kono. Kono and I had been carrying on a while when I started making noise about wanting to move in. Frightened the boy so bad, he went and joined the Royal Deadfire Company in the middle of the night. Thing is, I'm a deft hand with a throwing knife, and I know my way around 10 kinds of blades. So I followed him into the service. Pulled my weight, got on a good ship. Kono eventually left to go to poetry school or what have you. But I stayed. Haven't heard a complaint yet.
And she fits the bill for the person from the Luminous Bathhouse as well. Because it was a Royal Deadfire Company... don't want to say representative. It was selling cannons to the Príncipi, right? I know, it's Corno. Corno was the Royal Deadfire Company. And the woman was Tola. Príncipi captain, so I had it backwards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same portrait for Tola and, what's her name? Is it Kalmi? Aomi? Kwame?
Huh? Sure.
Either way, not super important. Also, while I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and legendarize our axe. Why won't it let me? And select this one, but I can't even select down here. Oh, it's already legendary. That's why. Okay. So I want Blazing Core. Gives me a little bit of healing off the burn damage of the weapon, or a Living Pyre. Means I have to get a kill with the weapon. I think the healing is better for sustain, especially on my tank. So we'll grab that. And we have Burning Burst. So getting the kills is probably easier than critting. Let's go with Burning Burst. So kills with Mogren's favor deal burn damage to nearby enemies, and plus 15% damage is burn. Nice. We'll swap back to that shield eventually, once we're done maxing this out. Also, how's this coming along? Oh, it's done. So let's actually give him a rapier back. Arn's Respite that I liked. We'll give this to my main character for now, just for the easy affliction status. And go from there.
Huh?
Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Next time we'll speak to Tipo, Wedo, and Ruari. And finish exploring Sayuka. But for now, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.